Welcome in. It is Victory Monday. Let me tell you, I ain't said Victory Monday and really meant it. And I don't know how long. We got to always do a sound check to make sure we don't got nothing going on crazy around here because God forbid I start off with the wrong juice over here. We ain't start off with the wrong juice. It's Victory Juice. It is Victory Monday for the Chicago Bears. Welcome in Mailbox Sports, Postal Game, Postman 1914 here. And we are over the moon, I would say. One victory less than I thought we have right now, but a rather satiating and appetizing win to get yesterday, albeit not a full-scale whooping or belt to ass. I think it was enough for the general public to be able to see us work out in full scale. We are going to check out a few highlights from the game. We will talk about the things that I will deliver to you on parcel format as we break down exactly what happened yesterday in my Bears 31-14 ass kicking of the Dallas Cowboys. First, do we got any Cowboy fans in the room? Any new participants? Go ahead and hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Let me see what we got going on over here. Well, let me see. How hard is it? So close to Philly? Okay, so let me share with you, drama. I didn't live in Philly, and that got to be a backbreaker for you, but I did live in Pennsylvania for about 3.5 years. I probably lived about 2 hours away from Philly, maybe like 50 miles from Harrisburg. I'll say a small place. Nobody will guess the city in terms of knowing Frackville, Pennsylvania. But I have been a transplant. I live in Cleveland, Ohio. And while the Browns do give me somewhat of an opportunity to get an out, I do have Steeler fans around like G Honda. So they haven't done much losing. But it seems that my team, and our team, I should say, with that one drama, always seems to have a bad showing on Monday night, Thursday night, Sunday night, you name the night. We have bad showings. And so to have a game that was semi-nationally broadcast in terms of it being Fox's game of the week, I was over the top to understand that we had some players to totally show you a boost in their stock and give you the opportunity to see that while it is not a finished product, we got a lot of talent on the offensive side of the ball, which was expected. Ben Johnson has given us things to be hopeful for in terms of his staff being able to provide. When the defense was something that I thought was something that will be the bane of our existence throughout the course of the season. You got coordinators like Dennis Allen that are putting things together. So we are here to dissect the offense, the defense, compare a few stats, check out a few of those highlights right along the way, and try to get this message delivered. G Honda, let's see what you got going on over here. Colston started the game off for us, man. First play of the game went for 24 yards. I want to say I may be underselling him with 24. It may have been a 30+ yarder to start it off. Colston hurt his hip on the first play after he caught that pass. He did not return to the game. So the touchdown that I anticipated going to Colston, in fact, went to Cole Kmet. And so we'll go ahead and break down a few stats and some scores for you. Game summary, major stats, so on and so forth. Bears 31-14. First win of the season under Ben Johnson. Kudos to him. And the first win at home moves us both to 1-2 in terms of the team we played against and the team that we are, the Chicago Bears. Key offensive stats. Not a 300-yard game, but 2 yards off, 298 yards, 4 touchdowns for Caleb, 0 interceptions. And for the first time in his young NFL career, no sacks. No sacks whatsoever. Total offense, 385 yards. So if we had 385 yards total and 298 was in the air, that we had 121 yards total on the ground, I believe. and I really don't even know how that really goes. I really think we had more than 385, but maybe they're accounting for some tackles for loss or what have you. The boys had 121 yards between the two running backs and DJ and Caleb. So 4 people. Monungai finally got carries yesterday. So while I won't say that the run game was something that we found yesterday, Lee Turner, it was something that made a presence for us. And it made a presence in the form of a 19-play drive in the third quarter. And so that was imperative. And we did have a running game with David Montgomery. We didn't have the tools to make the running game prevalent because we were losing oftentimes. So very often there was no time to run the ball because we were playing catch up. But now that Ben is out there and he understands that a running game is something that can set up the pass, I think we will run less than they did in Detroit simply because of the personnel on the whole. And I don't know who will ever be able to, get your own quote unquote Jahmyr Gibbs. What I do know is that they will utilize the run dramatically to set up the pass. And so that'll be something that gives us an opportunity to build upon the things they got going on. The third down efficiency was significantly better. I think we had like 57% this week. Usually that's not that high. And we held the other opposition to under 25%. Red zone, we scored on 2 or 3 trips down there. Cowboys got 1 or 4. And so the consistency on the offense showed up a bit more yesterday. That was something that has not been strung together on the whole. And even like yesterday, we first drive out, we went 3 and out. But in that 3 and out, I was under the delusion that we should have had a score. And I say it because of this. I was over the top in the pregame and stating that the first thing or the most certain thing that I was no doubt about is that the Bears would be able to score in their first 15 because the scripted plays were working to perfection. Yesterday, if I had bet someone, I would have been sadly disappointed in that because we did not. However, a key turning point in the game came in the form of a defensive play. And I never thought that the defense would be something that we relied upon or was able to be even able to rely upon, Lee Turner. But let's go ahead and see the play that ultimately started this game up for the Bears over here. Let's go ahead and see how this works out for us. Maybe I see it, maybe I don't. Bear with your boy as I go through these.
Williams looking for some blocks, catch some first down and more. Javonte Williams gets a great lead block out there from Steele, and the ball comes out. Chicago says they have it. They do. Tyreek Williams looking for some blocks, catch some first down.
That play in itself was a play that gave us the ultimate opportunity for us to lock in and totally, what's the word I'm looking for, Raquel? Take off on y'all give me a moment over here. We might have actually made a little breakthrough in what we call Cash App history. I got to get one day, I don't know what day in the world I will ever be monetized, but one day I will be. And let's go ahead and check it out. Miss Raquel Rose, thank you so much for the Cash App. It says, go Bears and go Falcons. If we got to, I don't mean to bring it up, Raquel, but what I really, one of the games that really threw me yesterday for a loop was the Falcons and the Panthers. I had so much hope after they trounced the Minnesota Vikings. I was overconfident yesterday, and I still think they'll go ahead and get some things together. But I put together a 5-team parlay. The Cincinnati Bengals, I picked to cover the spread, not lose by more than 4. Conversely, I picked the Falcons to win, and boy, did they whoop my tail. Man, the Steelers won't be in the Super Bowl, G Honda. And let me just tell you, just like that play changed momentum, G Honda, unless I get some plays out here and I really learn how to lock in a honest moment on how to provide content that everybody wants to tune into, lock into, and be totally engaged in on the whole, it's gonna be a little while for the watch time. But what I will say is, while I didn't start over here as soon as maybe I should have or ever thought about, we gonna really lock in and tap into what I think can be a beneficial community to me in terms of the extension of the people that I already know on YouTube, some of the people that I know from Twitch communities in the past, and just overall on the whole through SBC and everything else, I get to talk to people like Lee Turner, Drama, and everybody else, people that I get to find throughout the course of YouTube. And at that point, really go ahead and tap into people that find an affinity or a passion for what I like, which is sports. And while I'm always going to have the opportunities to talk about sport drama and so on and so forth, it's never going to be seen in the way that the last 4 years could have taught me to visualize it or have a vision for it. Took a while to get to the point of where I'm at, and you already know you've been building it while you're flying the G Honda. You and Raquel then putting in work. Hell, y'all all year and ever since I seen you on the scene. So the undertaking of it is drastic, but it is something that you get to figure out along the way. And along the way, I get to find out things about YouTube, just like I get to find out about my team. And every day, or every press conference and every week, we get to find different things out about my team, because while the first 2 weeks did not go the way in which they would ultimately have been like to, they did give us the opportunity to learn about ourselves in terms of some adversity, find out what things we might be able to excel in, and find out what areas we still have for improvement. As already stated, we will take about 5 weeks or so to understand who we are, and we won't be playing our best football until December, January, as he says, good, better, best. And I'm with the slogan and I'm with the motto. And the 4 takeaways that the defense had yesterday after giving up 52 points shows me that they were cognizant totally of what Ben wants to get done, and those types of things allow us to get it cracking. Now, when we get back to what really happens out here in this world, we talk about how that momentum swung in terms of the defense getting us the ball back, Lee Turner. That's right. Hit the like button or hit the road. What they tell you out there? This bears private property. It's not public. So we already know. When we get into the breakdown, we got a couple highlight plays. I got some sightings of people that we didn't think were being involved, like G Honda already asked about Colston Loveland. Yes, Colston hurt himself on the first play, but he did make the catch. And well, not even the first play, because he did have another play where Kayla overthrew him, and that might have been the play in which he left the field. But he started us off with a nice game-changing play, and it gave us the opportunity to go ahead and set some other things up. And along with setting those things up comes this wonderful play right here. And I don't have Rome got a touchdown to get us going. Oh, I got to go on the bot tricks, Lee Turner. This is I gotta remind people the G Honda letters in here don't work out so well for what we call all caps. But this is where I think another game breaking play came for us on the offensive breakdown. Let's go ahead and give a little love to the rookie.
So here are the Bears, a little flick to Swift, trying to get a flea flicker. It's way up there. Williams recovers, throws a seed, has a man. It is caught for a touchdown. Luther Burden's first in the
Watch him
league.
throw a seed, as he says.
So here are the Bears, a little flick to Swift.
That's what I'm talking about, Luther. That type of stuff right there is what gets the crowd going. It get the people going out here like dead ass. That flea flicker, Lee, if anybody didn't see that play, that was a 65-yard flea flicker. And I got a question for the chat real quick. Is a flea flicker a trick play? Let me know in the chat what you think. Is a flea flicker a trick play? I do not believe personally that a flea flicker is a trick play, but it's been coined as such. And they talk about Ben's trick play bag. I don't think that was a trick play. I think it's a very common play. I think I see it all the time. It was executed slightly wobbly, but it actually got the job done. Is what I really think about it. And somebody remind me to go into Botrix if we can. And is it a trick play to you? Why is it? Lee, look, this is what we're gonna do, Lee. I haven't got the chance to do this, but this might be the last time I get to do this. So I am about to hit the link over here for us and put it in the chat. Feel free if you want to let me know why. If we got real detailed thoughts, let me know what you got to say about the Bears. Why we think something like that will be a trick play. So maybe I can get a constitution of what I would classify as a trick play. Like I think like the Statue of Liberty. I think like the what's the play for Nick Foles and the Philly special. I think those are like trick plays. But I guess I could understand the flip back would be a trick play because that at that point though I would call like a double reverse or end around a trick play for me, and I don't think they are, but I'm more than interested in doing so. Anybody who would like to, in G Honda, we can even talk about your wonderful Steelers. At my job, we have something called I told you Silent Mondays. If nobody of the Bear fan, Steeler fan, and Browns fan wins a matchup, we don't get to talk football. Today was very loud and boisterous office as every team won. So if you got anything to talk about or chime in with for your team, we will go ahead and talk about it. But as far as the offensive breakdown goes, yesterday Caleb delivered his own. Let me see what we got going on. I'm trying to work on how to do this, Lee. There we go. That's the first time I ever got to do that right there, Lee. So bear with me as I try to learn this out. How you feeling today, brother?
All right, brother. How you doing?
Man, Victory Monday, like you said, been some Forte days since we got to talk about anything like that. So ain't been a bad day. Go ahead and share your thoughts with me, man.
Well, I'm gonna say this to you, Caleb Williams. I talked to you about that in your last podcast that he's going to be right now. He's a good tier 2 quarterback. I believe he can be a tier 1 quarterback if he shows consistency with the intermediate passes. Because I mean that flea flicker he did was awesome. But then you see him rolling out, throwing 10-yard passes down the sidelines, and he's coming up short. He just needs that consistency. And I think he'll get consistent the more he works this offense as the season goes along. He's going to show out. He's going to show a lot of people how dangerous he's going to be.
And just like you said, I think the problem that he has had to learn, the hardest thing for him to learn is, like you said, those layups. The things that are commonplace to a quarterback, as crazy or as odd as that may seem, the things that are a bit more commonplace are the things that he needs to fine tune, and he isn't getting the opportunity to do so. And if we can look at every game 1 to 3, his completion percentage has improved.
Mhm.
It is to boot higher than it was at any point last year. And at some point, like you said, the more of those gimmies and those intermediates as far as the tight ends or the DJ Moore type of plays to the sidelines, those types of things are going to give him better grasping of timing, I guess, in terms of the anticipation of those routes. I think right now he's still thinking more than reacting, and repetition is going to give him the opportunity to go ahead and start reacting to those a bit more like he did with the flea flicker, because that the deep ball took no thought for him. That was almost second nature, just like it was in college. He had a place of comfort, and at that moment, he was in SC for me, as opposed to the last year, you almost questioned his arm strength.
Yep.
Because he never took those deep shots. So encouraging to see those types of things right there. And I think in the midst of it, we get, as a fan base, so caught up in the immediacy of everything. A person like yourself can see the full picture and realize that time and repetition is going to get you there.
Mm-hmm.
Oftentimes, people all last year wanted the deep ball, wanted him to take shots, wanted this, that, and the third. And now that the shots are starting to take place, now the shift is instantly to, well, he needs to be more consistent about this, and that. And it's like all of those things are true, but most people, as the chats that I've been into today, find things to jump from a Chris Canty like one negativity to the next because he is answering the question that you are putting before him.
Yeah. I understand. Your other thing is your run game. Your line's got to open up the hole. I didn't know he was this quick. I really didn't know Caleb Williams had wheels like that. That boy got some wheels.
And so that's an advantage for being right there.
Yeah.
Conversely, he got rid of it, and this is something that one of my co-hosts would be able to attest to often. It looked like I was wrong about DeAndre Swift in one capacity. I thought he was a serviceable back, and I still think that he has the capabilities to do so often because he tries to run hard at times, but his lack of desire to hit the hole, with decision and decisiveness is kind of the bane of his existence. And I think until Kyle Monangai really gets a comfort level with being able to carry the ball, DeAndre won't be inspired. Case in point, yesterday, in my humble opinion, I think DeAndre ran a bit more inspired once Kyle started getting touches.
Yeah.
Proved that I can take the tough things up the middle, and if you don't do so, they'll give me all the carries. And lo and behold, I saw some burst. Mm-hmm. That 19 play drive was somewhat the epitome of what I think the offense can give you in terms of being able to hold their own and give the defense, which would appear to be the weaker of the two units, the opportunity to go ahead and do some things for themselves to be able to deliver on their own, to the tune of 4 turnovers yesterday. And so those be it for us.
I'm going to play GM with you. All right? I'm a Jets fan. You the Chicago GM. I'm the Jets GM, okay? Brees is up for a trade. Would you take him?
So that is a tricky one for me, and one reason. If being the soul that he can be the guy that he wants him to be, then I would have no problem with it. But we have to find a reasonable number because Brees is up for re-signing as a second rounder. So we got to pay him. What do I pay a guy like Brees Hall? Because DeAndre is getting 8 right now. I can say, unfortunately, because of a DeAndre, that would be the top end of what I'm willing to spend on a running back. I don't think I can go past that because, one, you got other people to pay coming up if they stay healthy and perform. 2, you are a running back, and with the right ammunition, you can draft said running back in the right round.
Okay.
But I like Brees. I just don't know what's the number you would think that we give somebody like a Brees.
Okay, I'm going to say a 4th or 5th round pick for the trade. for Brees.
Okay.
All right. I'm saying anywhere from 10 to 11 to 12 million a
Okay.
year. I'm not, he's not top tier. He's not, Cafferty. He's Brees Hall. I'm saying from 10 to 12 a year.
See,
At
like
least he can do a 1 year show me contract.
and I would be. I'm thinking I can do a 3 year. Let's say a 3 year, 31 million, and he might get like 24 guaranteed or something like that.
It's not bad.
It's something I can live with on your end. Whereas as Rayford is a Browns fan, he said he went to Super Bowl. I had to cut that in there real fast because he real delusional. But I if I have to pay somebody, I do think that Brees is going to be able to give us what we would like to get out of a running back, and so under that guys for a fourth, fifth round pick, I guess we can pull that trigger.
Yeah, I mean,
because Kyle can bounce with him. They can be a 1-2.
Yeah, because he's shown the ability to do well, but he just hasn't had the line for the Jets.
And you don't have Justin right now to help him out in the running game because that's another layer that gives them a scare that he can keep the ball. Rayford, how are we feeling today? Shout out. Why I never get to say this, Lee, and I won't say it very often. Like I said, I do live in Cleveland. Salute to the Cleveland Browns for doing something that they don't do very often, which is win. Let me get that shot in. But if you beat the goddamn Packers, that's what I'm talking about. Beat the Green Bay Packers. I think I got that's like Christmas twice. When the Bears win and the Packers lose, it's a good day everywhere around the world for Bears fans. That was like the crown jewel. And I think that kind of gave me like, what do you call the biggest level of anxiety, Lee? I told you I live here. We played at 425. By the time kickoff came, those other two games are done. Both of those teams had won. Mm-hmm. The pressure is on. Like going 0-3 and not having a shot, the pressure of being the only 0-3 team walking into the building was on. It was palpable. I'm glad they ain't let me down yesterday. Caleb had a wonderful game, and that will be the person that we put a what I would call a stamp of approval on. We'll get to that in a minute. The running game was adequate, even if it wasn't game changing. They do need to do more, but I think, like I said, the 19 play drive in the third quarter did give credence to show that the offensive line, one, was holding form. Two, also gave us the opportunity to see that the running backs were able to do enough. And so sometimes, just like I talked about in the pregame before that, the effective yards. And while I didn't see a lot of burst and a lot of mind-numbing runs in terms of the volume, I did see runs that happened when we needed them to, much like a defensive timely stop or something to that degree. I did kind of see the big play when we needed it to happen. Okay. Even if it wasn't consistent, it was consistent along the lines of third down and things like that. We were highly effective on third down yesterday, and some of that is largely in part to the grunt work that they did. And while it wasn't pretty, it was yesterday effective. I want to see it get better. We can workshop ways for it to get there. The offensive line, like I said, did a job for itself, kept Caleb upright with no sacks, and a special salute to one Braxton Jones, who gets a lot of blame for a lot of things. Braxton had 0 pressures yesterday. The only person on the line to have 0 pressure, well, I'll take that back, him and Tooney. But the left side gets way less credit for the good job he was doing. Darnell, while the game started rocky with a couple penalties, did settle in. And I did not hear Jonah Jackson's name for the second straight week. So Jonah is starting to allow me to dissipate the worry that I had about the offensive line. Lee, what did you think about the offensive line yesterday in terms of the job they did overall?
The offensive line did well as far as blocking for Caleb. He did roll out of pockets, and I believe some of that rollout was designed. Your defense was awesome. Your defensive line was awesome. They was all over the field. But your offensive line, I would just like to see them open up some holes for the running game. That's my only. If y'all can get that together, you playoff team. You're a playoff team that goes deep into the playoffs. Deep into the playoffs. If you can have a running game that's consistent, and that's worth something. If you get that, you're gonna go deep into the playoffs.
And even just to be fair to the running game on the whole, what I will say is, for the most part, including myself, everybody gives a mea culpa to almost every position on the Bears roster when we talk about things like, and this is my claim to fame caveat right now. This is Ben Johnson's third game as a professional head coach in the NFL. This is Caleb's third game in his offense. This is the offensive line's third game in the offense. And it's a third game actually playing together because Joe didn't play the entire preseason. So continuity trumps anything when it comes to the offensive line in terms of knowing all tendencies. And so I think more than 3 weeks is needed for them to have a full semblance of their tendencies amongst each other in order to totally give the line what it needs to not suck in terms of actual solidified running game. So while I am not happy with the personnel overall right now, I will give them a bit more grace and deference to understand that just maybe in the upcoming weeks after the bye, the offensive line will be a bit more gelled and cohesive amongst each other, Erica, and they will be in the mind frame of knowing how the line likes to block for them, so that in fact they can hit those holes with confidence and have the confidence that Caleb had in the pocket yesterday with it being clean. I think if they can learn their personnel, understand the line a bit better, you do see people like Saquon sometimes at times where he has a hand on the back of an offensive lineman. And I think that comes from a level, even though it's being a forceful type of situation and it's kind of guiding the guy, it still gives a level of comfort to understand I know where my guy's going to be. And even in that moment of him pushing, you don't know instantaneously whether or not you're going left, right, or straight ahead with his push. But I think that comes with a level of comfort with your linemen and your teammates to understand exactly what it is that you like to do so that they can execute for you better. And I always use the reference that I play games, and on 2K, it is so much more refreshing to play in a rec game with my frat brothers because I understand the things that they like to do on the real basketball court, and thus it translates when I'm actually trying to dictate or pass the ball to them, on the virtual court. But I think the time for everybody will give a bit more continuity and a bit more of a positive result because once again, I think the offense weekly has progressed, even to the tune of this week leading the charge and not costing us a game. I do believe that things like that show evidence that Ben is getting a bit more comfortable with his role in creating the offense, and the team thus is getting a bit more comfortable with delivering on said offense. So I do think the time is going to be the bane of those types of things. But when we talk about time, it's time for me to quell a little bit of things about DJ Moore. DJ had a nice little play yesterday, and while he didn't get as many targets as I would like in the offensive game, he did expose some usage of himself in terms of the offense on the run game. Did look pretty spry in those moments. We're gonna look at this play for his touchdown, and then we'll talk about how you thought about him in the run game on the whole, just being in a Debo fashion. But let's look at this little chop up real fast.
Okay. There's definitely some margin of error. 4th and goal. Williams looking, pressure, throws, caught, touchdown, DJ Moore. There's definitely some margin of error.
Now, even though that was more of a play about DJ, I'm going to give Caleb a little bit of grace and praise for the way in which he rolled out, because you talk about his maneuverability and the way in which he's mobile. The rollout to his outside shoulder and to throw it back directly through the middle of the end zone shows the arm talent. Those are the wild plays. You looking more for the other plays out of him that are a bit more fundamentally sound and the things that kind of like happen 6-7 times a game as opposed to some of those types is what I'm understanding correctly about Caleb's growth, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So in that being with that being said, some of that growth for Brock Purdy was happening with the utilization of a Debo in multiple facets. How do you think DJ in his first, I think what I would say his first full Debo package, and I hate to say Debo because it takes away from DJ, but and so we'll just do that. It's a DJ package. I won't even call it a Debo. We know exactly what's going on and how he's being used.
Yes.
What do you think about it, and what do you think about it moving forward? Did you like it yesterday, and do you think it's something that can be sustained? Sustained. Yes, I use the right word. Got it.
Yeah, that's the package that needs to be sustained. That needs to be sustained for the foreseeable future. Probably add a little bit. You could probably add a little bit more to it. I mean, you can really add some more to it. You can add more formations to it. You can put him in different spots. You can do a lot with this guy. He's very talented.
Definitely.
Very talented.
I would like to see a few more. And we didn't like to see it in the old regime, but I would like to see him be used a bit more in some jet sweep type of things as opposed to direct handoffs. Just to one, give him a little bit of a runway, and two, allow him the opportunity to not take so much of a hit like a running back. So if you get 3 carries or so as a running back, fine. If you get 6 of your carries behind the line of scrimmage, that's okay for me. And then they really got to start working him into some slants and across the middle of the field. I see a lot of sideline plays for DJ. Mm-hmm. I would like to see a lot more middle of the field plays for DJ because, truth be told, he's the strongest receiver of the group. Like legs, toughness, and everything else. I love Rome and what he does for the team, but DJ is the grit guy, and he would do so much better, in my estimation, like you said, with a lot of things in the package that they have for him being centered around the middle of the field. Because if you give him enough middle of the field packages, those are the intermediate things that you want to see. It allows him to have a better cohesion with Caleb, for lack of a better, and it may open him up to realizing that I've seen DJ make a lot of catches over the right shoulder, and that lends itself to never being a throw that's going to be thrown to the left side of the field on the sideline. So if you turn him to the middle of the field where he can actually turn in towards the right side of the end zone, or even slants into the end zone, you can throw to that back shoulder because you can throw out of bounds. Get some plays that allows him to be in the most comfortable position to catch. But I think overall, the offense gave what we needed to do yesterday. But we will move on to what was the coup de grace. And although the offense looked so mesmerizing, the defense stole a show from me yesterday. After being torched for 4 touchdowns, for 52 points the week before, to come back, albeit with injured guy and CeeDee Lamb, the run game on the other side was not feeble. George Pickens was still there. Ferguson still got 13 targets, I believe, and caught a great plenty of those. And so the interceptions by Tremaine Edmonds, all the takeaways, what were the biggest ones for you, if any of them stood out to you individually? I know we talked about what my guy. I know we talked about Tariq, but on the whole, defensive plays, which one stood out to you the most?
I'm gonna be a little bit of a jokester, but I didn't know Pickens was there. He was just definitely non-existent. Y'all had him just about locked down. He was just nowhere to be found throughout this whole thing. The interception in the end zone was probably what I liked.
Man, that saved score right there. And was that going into the half, I believe, or something like that? Yeah. So we got the ball back.
Yes, it was a game changer. It was a game changer. It was a lot of game changers in this whole game.
Point swings. Yep.
Yeah, a lot of swings, and that was a game changer. The interception in the safety from the safety in the end zone. I think it was Clark.
Well, Tremaine got one in the end zone, and they got one at the end of the game. So I want to say Tremaine got the end zone pick, a dive.
Okay. Yeah, it was a game changer. It was a game changer, and I would say just locking down, your wide receiver too, and making sure Dallas doesn't, they just never really got on the ground with it, and Dak was pressured all game long. They had him running for his life. Um, I think Dak is a competent quarterback, but he has no line right now to block for him. That's the inconsistencies he's got to deal with in his team. You don't know who they coming, which Dallas Cowboy team is coming. Y'all just outplayed them on both ends of both ends of the ball. Y'all just
Hell,
outplayed them.
and you even talk about it, even special teams. Yesterday was the first time in his tenure that I have been pleased with a Tory Taylor sighting. And I say that because while I don't want you to punt, I saw him punt the ball and pin him on the 4 with one right to the corner, right out of bounds.
Yes.
Something you actually are supposed to do. And it had a hang time because he always talks about the strength of his leg. Well, they do, but no one talks about the accuracy in terms of him actually breaking down pinpoint and the hang time so that his team can actually get down there and defend. I think the situational defense was strong yesterday in terms of the red zone, third down, 2-minute drill. And those are the things I think that kind of seal the envelope, so to speak, for the game. Whereas we thrived on third down, they did not flourish. Our 2-minute drives were effective and score worthy, and they resulted in points, whereas they didn't have the opportunity to do so. Mm-hmm. And so I think that coupled with the opportunities for us to get large plays on them because of their, what do you call it, problems in that secondary. Yeah. Trayvon Diggs was banged up a bit. Deron Bland didn't play, but I think taking advantage of those types of things was something that I was very pleased to see. Repink, how you doing today? Anybody coming in, hit that like button. I do think that the fact of the matter was we exploited things that were needed on our side of the ball offensively, and I think we played a complementary style of ball, whereas when the defense took away the ball in the first quarter, we went down and scored. When the defense got the ball again on the takeaway, with Tremaine in the end zone, went down and got a field goal. It's like all of those types of things kind of work symbiotically, and it gave a sense of confidence for each side of the ball to know that they wasn't working harder than the other side to get the dough up. I think that right there is going to be the formula in itself that's going to get us over the hump. Mm-hmm. And you wonder, will you be able to carry the momentum of that balance over into next week? Because we got a few people I want to say got some stock up, and I want to see if we can keep the game stock up in terms of how we perform. So before I give you my list, give me 2 to 3 people that you think had stock up after game 3. Who got some rise in their stock?
I'll give you Caleb Williams and I'll give you DJ Moore.
Okay.
I'll give you Caleb Williams and DJ Moore. I would love to see him do some more deep passes. He's got the arm for it. And it would open up. I believe the deep passes would open up the run game.
Very much so. And so some people run to pass. I believe Ben right now is using the pass to set up the run. Mm-hmm. And like you said, those deep passes could do so.
Yeah.
For my stock up offensively, I would agree with you wholeheartedly in saying that Caleb is big time stock up. His delivery was straight on point for me. But the second person that I would align with him in terms of the offense, I would give it to Luther Burden. And this is why. If we look at Detroit, and they always wonder how you would be able to utilize a particular player and do this and the third with combinations, Luther at the moment would appear to be a resemblance of a Jameson Williams.
Okay.
And by that, I mean Jameson, even to this day against the Bears, he had 101 yards. How many catches did he have in that game? 4. 4 catches, 4 targets, 101 yards, and a tutty. Mm-hmm. Luther, if I'm correct, did Luther not have 101 yards and a touchdown yesterday?
I believe he did.
He did it on 3 targets, I want to say. Mm-hmm. Make the most of your targets when they come your way. Inflict your will on the defense. And while he might not get a lot of targets, those types of things right there will have confidence in himself and the coach to dial up plays because the ball wobbled a bit going out of bounds going to the outside shoulder to him, and his hands were like on point and being able to corral that ball in and still make the move to finish it off and get to the end zone. I think Luther will get more plays just like Colston will when he's healthy, because they did show that we can use the offensive middle, i.e. the tight ends, to be involved. And while they weren't involved significantly with 9 or 10 passes, the ones they did get were crucial. The first one to Colston, the last one to Cole in the end zone. Those are the times in which you were supposed to use them. Those people got open. And just to get sidetracked real quick, the play that Colston got open and caught the ball on, I don't want anybody to sleep on that and look at that like a tight end play. Colston was running a wide receiver's route and on the outside like a Travis Kelce of Young when he caught that ball. That wasn't just a random, in route for a tight guy. He went real wide about it, and nobody can stop him. What I will say is, on defense, give me two guys or a group if you want that showed their ass yesterday and got to stock up.
I'm gonna go with your defensive front.
Okay, I like it.
They gave a lot of pressure to Dak, and then I'm gonna go to the backside to your safeties. A lot of help over the top. A lot of help over top. I believe once CeeDee Lamb went out the game, they could focus on Pickens because now he was the number one. And I think they did. I think they did
exactly. That's exactly what happened right there, Lee. And if you think about it, the way in which Tyreek was able to play aggressively and play in his element, it was all due to Bayer and Brisker being healthy and being in rare form in their position. So it allows them to kind of, him and Nashawn Wright, Nick McLeod, everybody else are able to kind of like freelance a bit more and do the aggressive things that Dennis Allen allows them to do, while you got the slow and steady presence of a Bayard and a Brisker that's hungry to prove that he want to get in the box and still hit people, and he can do those types of things. I think those types of things, give us opportunities to have players to continuously make the key plays. The sack that we had at the end is a wonderful feeling when your team is winning. You get to pin your ears back and just, freely tee off on the quarterback. I think that the flea flicker play was a welcome sight to the defense after they got a turnover. To then, although it was a quick turnaround with short plays in terms of getting the score right back. I think it was like 3 plays before we scored, if that. It gives them a sense of energy. I think that was like I said, a critical turning point in the game. The 19-play, 10-minute drive in the third quarter that ended in the touchdown to DJ Moore, that is a demoralizer in the multitude of ways. It's giving your defense time to sit over there, change their socks, take a bathroom break, eat a hot dog, do whatever they want to do before they get back on the field. So they totally it's like they got a total another refresher before they go out there and tee off on somebody that's losing. After you not only had a 10-minute drive, but you actually scored 6 on that drive. That drive is a demoralizer. And at 8 o'clock, I think that right there really, kind of did them in, and that forced Dak to go ahead and press. That creates the turnovers that happened in the fourth quarter, including the one in the end zone with 52 seconds left to seal the outcome. Like, those types of plays right there really work hand in hand, and I think that the defensive front gave enough pressure for the back to be able to do what it does in a total example of the defense could be, even with injury. So with depth to be coming or to be had with those guys by actually coming back, being healthy, getting a Shamar Turner into the rotation, getting a Alton Reed back at the end of the bye week or what have you, those things right there give a bit more confidence or settling for the week that the defense can do the things we need them to do.
I agree with you. My brother, I'm going to get off this line with you. You're doing a wonderful job. Salute to you, my man.
I appreciate it, man. We wrapping up over here.
Go Bears.
Bear down. You
There
already know. Viva Las Vegas, baby. We moving on.
you go. Take care now.
God bless, man. Have a nice one.
Bless you too.
So everybody. This is what we got for you as we wrap up here. Implications of what's next. Could this win be a turning point to get the first victory? You know, and a new coach lifts your morale, gives us hope, and it says that we might have the opportunity to build off of big plays and be opportunistic in the defense, and that can be dangerous. Uh, Against Las Vegas, we do not want the run defense to be a problem. While they did get some run production early on, it was an opportunity that the defense made some adjustments and thus did things to kind of gap fit and close off some of those run lanes. And by making a lead that we had, gave us the opportunity to go ahead and make them a throwing team, thus being able to pin back and get more pressure. I don't want Ashton Genty to be the guy that goes ahead to do anything so aggressively, such as have his first career type of game. And so I really don't want those types of things to work against us. But for betting purposes, I don't know much about their secondary. I don't think it's very good. Bet on some Bears receivers to go over in their receiving yardage. Pick you a dark horse for a tight end. Luther Burden was a plus 1,100 this week. So let me know what were your biggest surprises of the game, good and bad. You can drop your stock up comments in the chat. Let me know who you thought had stock up in this game. And if you think anybody had stock down, even on a Victory Monday, we'll take those things in closing. If you like this breakdown of the game and you want to be a part of the next breakdown, by all means, be a part of the chat so we can hit the links. We'll patch you into my Discord as well so that we can get into having a few more frames of things to do. Before we move along, we will absolutely go ahead and give what I like to call my stamp of approval to a player that has done so much with so little in terms of the scrutiny to resources. And it is a one, Caleb Williams, who gets my stamp of approval today. 298 yards, 239, regrettably, that were in the first half. We kind of took our foot off the gas, according to a few fans. No worries. 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and no sacks taken. Your vision was there yesterday. Your decision making was impeccable. Arm accuracy, arm talent, all of those things worked in our favor. Jay Walker and Cuz Caleb was out there balling. Didn't see his earrings, didn't see his nail polish. Don't care to see none of it. He was out there doing his big one. You see what I'm saying? If anybody would like to be a part of any of the pre-games, the post-games, and any of my junk mail / sports gossip columns, feel free to email me at mailboxsports3 with any and all content that is related to the sports world that has a little bit of sauce to it, a little bit of spice, and things we can break down and find out exactly whether or not we believe that sports and pop culture so coexist that we can have a good time even when we're talking about sports. With that being said, hit the like button, share this with a friend, encourage them to subscribe to the page. We are rapidly approaching 500 subscribers. We wanted you to go hit that notification bell so you can go ahead and get this content delivered to you as soon as it drops. From me and my lazy puppy, we appreciate it. The Bears delivered a message yesterday. They can be creative, they can be explosive, and they can even be opportunistic. That's a word to say right there. Dallas showed that if your team is properly prepared to be exploited, my team too can exploit you on offense and show that Ben is just getting these boys started for what is to be a long season. If we capitalize on the momentum that we had from yesterday, win next week, we are 2-2 going into the bye, and then we come out into a matchup that is known to get under the skin of many. But if we do so, this win might feel like more than just one in the books if we can keep that momentum going. So I do appreciate everybody hanging out with me today. Shout out again to my second sponsor of the show, Miss Raquel Rose. I appreciate you. Bree Pink, thank you for hanging out with me. First sponsor. Don't think I forgot what my Amiga beginnings are about. G Honda, Lee Turner, Ray Long, Erica's Corner. I appreciate everybody who has pulled up out here. Major Drama. Appreciate you giving me all the precursory questions leading up to what was going on over here. With that being said, until next time and until next delivery, we are going to move along, get out to Monday Night Football. We are gone. Have a nice day, everyone. We out.